Next is I don't really quite understand this question, but Pranab, he says, what is good for event blogging, expired domain or new domain? I'm a newbie learner. Okay, I guess just means for what is good for blogging, expired domain or new domain. Well, I would recommend going with a new domain with a brand name that you want to create, because for SEO purposes, if you find an expired domain that had good backlink profile and relevant content to what it is that you're going to be blogging about, if it was previously in the same type of content or the same category, essentially the same topic, then you can get some traction from that. But you have to know how to, you can get some traction faster from using an expired domain because it might already have some good inbound links, so a good link profile. But that's the problem. Unless you know what you're doing and how to investigate that, you could very well just buy a domain that's been spammed to death. And if it wasn't in the same category, the same around, built around, if it didn't have content on it that was around the same topic, then it's really not going to benefit from the existing inbound link profile unless it had incredibly high valued links pointing to it, in which case sometimes you can recategorize it and it will still have a benefit. But for the most part, I recommend just starting off with your own new domain that's branded after the brand name that you want to create, and starting there, and then using some of the methods, to be selfish here, some of the semantic mastery methods where you can start pushing authority and relevancy into your domain using properties that you don't have to worry about necessarily the inbound link profile because it's a brand new property, or a brand new domain. So obviously we use a lot of Google properties to push authority. And that's something that you can do, is just start with a new domain, branded the way that you want it to be branded. It's nice, clean domain at that point, right? If it's new, and then you can start building, things like syndication network and blogging consistently. That's a staple for us. A drive stack. We're going to talk about that here again in a minute, but an RYS drive stack, using Google properties to start building authority to your domain. And then from there, you could do a lot of other things to the drive stack that would keep your domain clean, but start building authority. That's what I recommend. Mark, you want to comment on that at all?
No, I totally agree. Aren't we doing an update webinar for Syndication Academy?
Yes.
Where we're going to talk about the importance of branding and brand plus keyword association, and how that really solidifies everything as far as Googlebot is concerned. It's all about the entity, right? It's all about what you're presenting to Google as far as what it is that you're doing, how you're doing it, and how everything that's attached to this brand belongs to the brand. You've talked about this before. We go and we claim the footprint. We're not scared of Google. We want Google to know this stuff is all ours. We're going to go ahead and have our presence in all of these social media and on all of the different Web 2.0 profiles that we create through Syndication Academy. There's other training in Syndication Academy that helps power it up. But the whole point is for that entity. And so you can do that. Instead of taking somebody else's idea and what they had and trying to convert that to your vision, just start with your vision and go after that. I totally agree with Brad.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's interesting. We had a question in, I think it was a Syndication Academy group, or it might have been our free Facebook group, the SEO tutorials group. But somebody asked, are syndication networks still viable in 2019? And that absolutely they are. As far as a straight ranking tactic, they're not maybe as effective as they were several years ago. But that's missing. You're missing the point then, because what Marco was just talking about was it's an entity validator, and it's incredibly important to do that, because in case you were unaware of this, Google is looking at authority and entities, and building authority and validating those entities. And that's one way to do it. And it's by getting your name listed, your brand name or your website name, whatever, listed in multiple places. And it kind of validates that entity in a way that you can't really do unless you have claimed this footprint. You know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons why they're still very, very effective. And I would, again, it's still part of our standard operating procedure. It's a foundational method. There's no question.